Schools have seen some changes this week. See how yours is affected.
The spread of COVID is slowing, how it affects the election in Northwest communities. Murrow News 8 starts now.
Studios on the campus of Washington State University. This is Murrow News 8.
Good evening, I'm Cameron Limes.
And I'm Humayun Khurram. Welcome to Murrow News 8. Moscow School District and University of Idaho facilities remain closed to students, ending the first week of school in which all instruction was delivered online. The University of Idaho hopes to begin normal operations on Monday. Washington State University, after suspending all on-campus operations because of the poor and air quality, resumed operations on Thursday. WSU classes are completely online this semester. The story for the next 24 hours is air quality to improve in Pullman. Air quality will slowly improve today and then even more Saturday with the wind.
We are a full week into the smoke filling the air. I went out and talked to students about their frustrations and worries. Red sunlight shines as thick smoke fills the air. Students in Pullman are forced back indoors after smoke from the fires across the West Coast enveloped the United States. Pullman is already facing an astonishing rate of COVID cases, and the smoke has only made life a bit more unnormal for most. Students such as Alex Savage have already begun to feel the effects of what smoke can do.
So I had asthma as a kid, and I didn't know that. I thought I outgrew my asthma, and I obviously didn't. So that first day was pretty rough for me, breathing. Also, I'm trying to go back home this weekend, and it's a little scary because I don't know how bad the smoke is to drive back home.
Savage is from Portland, Oregon, where there are currently 30 active fires. Fires in Washington, Oregon, and California are covering most of the United States in smoke, making air conditions unhealthy. Due to fires not being yet under control, officials do not know when the smoke is supposed to disperse. With Murrow News 8, I'm Cameron Limes. Coming out of CBS Sports, the Pac-12 is in the early stages of returning to the field this fall. The biggest concerns surrounding this return are the COVID-19 health restrictions in California and Oregon, which is where half of the league's 12 teams are housed. These concerns could be addressed as soon as Friday. There is a possibility of football returning as soon as October 31st. Enrollment is down 5% in Pullman campus of WSU and down 1.5% across all WSU campuses. This is the first time enrollment has been down since 2013. A federal judge has granted a nationwide injunction which halts changes the U.S. Postal Service. Stanley Bastian issued the injunction saying that the Postal Service is under a, quote, politically motivated attack, end quote.
Cortland pastor who choose not to enforce mask mandate recovering after contracting COVID-19. Paul Van Noy is the senior pastor at Candlelight Christian Fellowship. Members of the church were not required to wear masks in the weeks that followed. 6 church staff members, including Paul and his wife Brenda, contracted with this virus. Paul has been recovering in Kootenai Medical Center's intensive care unit. There were 25 new cases of coronavirus in Whitman County since September 4th. This number is lower than it was past weeks. However, Whitman County still has one of the highest rates in the country. There are 387 new cases of the state of Washington, along with 10 deaths in the last 2 weeks. In a letter sent out this morning, President of WSU Kirk School says that 1,500 students have been tested so far.
WSU President Kirk Schultz has released the testing numbers via an email to students and faculty. Between the National Guard, Pullman Regional Hospital, Range Health Services, and Cougar Health Services, more than 1,500 COVID tests have been administered. According to Schultz, several key indicators have been discovered to paint a better picture of COVID cases in Pullman. Schultz says he will not stop until every student is tested. Greek Row is under a microscope with the recent spike in COVID cases. Communal housing does make social distancing difficult, but by no means impossible. Reporter Andrew Bartline has the story.
President Jared Holstad admits he has his hands full this semester. Coronavirus and Greek housing, the two don't mix.
Dramatic decrease in total number of occupants living in. Everyone also has their own room now. There's 24 numbered rooms in the house, and we have 19 residents.
They argue keeping the SIGEP house open has been difficult but necessary, taking every precaution to stop the spread of germs.
Our lunch and dinners usually be like a buffet style, but this year all the meals are like pre-packaged. so there's no like cross-contamination of people, grabbing for food and whatnot.
There's been a large emphasis on, well, keeping your distance. Typically, as many as 25 members might share a room just like this. It's called a sleeping porch. But you can say goodbye to porch for now, as this semester all members are required to sleep in their day room, much like this one here. None of them have any roommates. That's part of keeping the distance and abiding by basic safety mandates.
In each individual room, we've gone out and removed excess furniture and seating to make sure that each individual common space in the house adheres to social distancing measures, and all of that excess furniture has been stored and sealed off so it can be accessed.
And if a member does get sick, the house has a designated quarantine room with an attached bathroom. Though having to keep physically distant, Holstad still believes in what the fraternity can offer its members.
Well, what it's allowing us to do is to focus more on the traditional values and the lessons that the fraternity is supposed to teach people.
I know a lot of the guys have been golfing almost every day, or they're out here playing spike ball or basketball, just something that they can still like have fun and bond with each other, but obviously following guidelines.
In Pullman, Andrew Bartline, Murrow News 8.
Coming up, see which countries are seeing a rise in coronavirus and which social media app is getting restricted soon.
And how local businesses are affected by online classes, and the causality in the fight against wildfires burning in the West Coast, when Murrow News 8 returns.
Always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual, and she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, "Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you and we'll figure it out."
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day, I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Me and my boy Matt had it good. He had catnip that was off the hook. But one day, he brings a girl home, and she's allergic to cats. Every sneeze was a nail in my coffin. Now I'm in a shelter. It's decent, but they don't even have Wi-Fi.
A firefighter has passed away in California as a result of the El Dorado fire, which was started by a gender reveal party. While the firefighter's identity has been withheld until the investigation is complete, this marks the first firefighter casualty of the 2020 wildfire season.
Europe is seeing the second wave of the coronavirus, with cases up 10% within the past week. There were 300,000 cases within the past week, with transmission rates higher than they were in March. Countries throughout Europe have been slowly reopening their economies, but with the rushing to stop the spread of coronavirus.
Fresh Food Studio, known to be a hotspot for a bite to eat in the Chinook, now nearly a ghost town due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
We were one of the best operations on campus. We were running excellent sales, making profit for the third year in a row until the corona hit.
Foss says that the company was projected at 14% of their sales from last year and that they are running at about 20% now. He says what they are selling in one day is what they might have done in a good lunch hour last year. Since the pandemic, Freshens has been making 70% of their sales through the Get app, an app where you can order your food and have it ready for pickup at a time of your choosing. Employees receive a ticket that prints, where they then prepare the order, bag it up, and it is ready for the customer to pick up. Before their shifts, Freshens employees must check in at the front desk of the Chinook to show an employee their daily attestation and get their temperature taken. They must then wash their hands before starting work. Isabel Tamayo, a student manager at Freshens, says that there are new protocols in place to prevent the spread of the virus.
Every 30 minutes, we have to make sure that everything is sanitized, the door handles, tables, and everything that we touch.
Foss does not want people to fear coming into Freshens to pick up a meal.
If you talk to any of the staff or anyone, I think a lot of people feel really safe coming in here. We have great sanitization going on. We have all the control factors to make sure we're keeping the virus away from here or eliminating any chance for transmission here. I wouldn't worry.
In Pullman, Kylie Gibson, Murrow News 8.
TikTok, the Chinese owner social media app, will be removed from the Apple App Store and Google's Google Play Store Sunday. Current users will not be affected. However, future patches and updates to the app may get delayed. This is the first impact of a pair of executive orders signed by President Trump to force ByteDance, a Chinese owner company, to sell TikTok to remain in the United States.
Bloomsday will begin running the 43rd Bloomsday race this Friday, but the roadways will have a vastly different look this year. Due to restrictions against large gatherings, the 12-kilometer race will be recorded virtually, and the runners will send their times in on an honor system to receive their shirt. The Royal Mounted Police in Canada have charged a 20-year-old man for driving almost 90 miles per hour. The catch? His Tesla Model S was driving itself on autopilot while the driver slept. When police trailed the car, it automatically accelerated to 94 miles per hour before being pulled over. Up next, it's going to be a hazy weekend. See how it affects the Seahawks and the Mariners.
Murrow News 8 reporter Kylie Gibson will tell you what to expect from this weekend's weather. We'll be right back.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
So, I just moved in with his family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Right now, weather is a little bit complicated, but in this upcoming week, we'll see how it changes. Kylie Gibson has a weather report.
Thank you, Cameron. Looking at the weather today, we start off with a little smoke in the air still, just lingering throughout the day. We start with a high of 77 and a low of 53, with winds ranging at 4 miles an hour. Sun sets at 6:53 this evening. Tomorrow, with a chance of rain, we'll hopefully ease the smoke a little bit as we go on throughout the day. We have a low of 46 tomorrow with a high of 69, ranging winds from 15 miles an hour. The sun will set tomorrow at 6:51 p.m. Looking on to the west side of the state, In Olympia, the low of 57 with a high of 64 and a chance of rain. Hopefully that will make the smoke go away up there as well. In Seattle, we start off with a high of 66 and a low of 61. Moving over to the Tri-Cities, we start with a low of 56 degrees and a high of 81. In Yakima, we start with a low of 54 and a high of 79. Moving over to Spokane, we have a low of 51 and a high of 79. With the rain coming this weekend, be careful when you're out on the roads. The roads will remain slick as the rain comes, since we have not had it in a long time. Moving over to the 5-day forecast, you can see today a little haze in the air, but getting better, with a low of 48 and a high of 77. Saturday, rain, a low of 46 and a high of 69. Sunday, sunny with a low of 46 and a high of 70. Monday, still sunny with a low of 46 and a high of 75. And about the same on Sunday, we're looking at a low of 45 and a high of 75. Back to you, Cameron.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Kylie.
Thank you so much, Kylie. Hey, Cameron, so how do you feel about the smoke?
You know, it's honestly been a little bit tricky. I do have asthma, so finding like my own pattern, my own groove of things has kind of been a little bit of a challenge. But you know, we're making it through. It's clearing up, which is lovely. Yeah. I love that. How about yourself? How are you dealing with it?
I have the asthma problem too, and I hope it gets better soon.
Yeah. I guess that's all we can hope for, really. I know a lot of people have started rediscovering that they have asthma due to the smoke, and things are really changing up for them, and they're really dealing with that pretty heavily, from what I've seen. Up next, the Mariners completed their series against the Giants Thursday. See how long they did, along with what Bill Belichick said about the Seahawks quarterback.
Tomorrow would have been the second Cougar Football Saturday. See how Pullman is responding next.
Days, months.
Hey, I'm Jim from across the street.
Years.
I'd like to give you this.
A lifetime. Can rush by without realizing what we're missing. But it doesn't have to be that way. We have a choice to take action. Visit maketheconnection.net to find out more.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop.
So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it.
Tomorrow is another Saturday on the Palouse and another weekend without Cougar football. Murrow News 8 reporter Isaac Connors talked with fans in Pullman and addressed reports that not all hope is lost on a football season here for the Pac-12.
Fall season is approaching in Pullman, Washington, and it will be the first season without Washington State Cougar football since 1944. Fans are disappointed, saddened, and looking for new ways to cope without college football.
Every Saturday, the small town of Pullman, Washington becomes the main focus of college football on the Palouse. This year, Saturdays are looking a lot different. Since the decision was made to cancel the season, fans are expressing their disapproval, while also discovering new ways to cope without college football this year.
I personally disagree. I think there's plenty of options, plenty of precautions they could have taken to still have football. To cope with it, I've become more invested, in NFL football, or even watching other schools like the SEC, things like that. So I'm just trying to get my football fill elsewhere.
While fans are disappointed with the decision, they've become even more disappointed now that almost every conference, besides the Big Ten, have just finished their first week of college football. While some are upset with the decision, there are others who feel it was the right decision to make at the time.
Yeah, well, I was certainly sorry to see it be canceled, and understand that there's a lot of revenue and it's kind of focused. But at the time that they did it, it was looking like it needed to be done to protect the players.
While there's a good chance fans won't be able to watch their Cougs play this year, recent news suggests that there is still some hope for the return of college football this year.
Pac-12 officials were originally planning to start the season in the spring, but recent news suggests that they would like to pursue a mid to late November start time to the college football season. While no decisions have been finalized, Cougars fans are holding on to the hope that they'll get to see their Cougs play in November. From Pullman, Washington, I'm Isaac Connors, Murrow News 8.
The Seattle Seahawks kick 2020 off to a 1-0 start, gearing up this weekend for a date at home with Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots. It's a rematch of Super Bowl 49. Belichick, a man of few words, taking rare form. He gave praise to standout Seahawks quarterback Russell Wilson earlier this week. Take a listen.
Tremendous player. Honestly, I think he's, in a way maybe underrated by the media or the fans. I don't know, but I mean, I don't really see anybody better than this player.
The Seattle Mariners dropped their last game of the series with the San Francisco Giants, a 6-4 affair. A 4-run second frame put the M's up early. J.P. Crawford led the charge with a pair of RBI. San Francisco, though, holding Seattle scoreless for the final 7 innings. It put the game on ice. Seattle begins a homestand tonight, a 3-game hosting of the San Diego Padres. Other NFL news, the state of Ohio clashed during Thursday night football. The Cleveland Browns defeating the Cincinnati Bengals 35-30. Some strong words from rookie quarterback Joe Burrow after the loss. The reigning Heisman winner made it clear he expects more. Quote, "Losing isn't very fun. This might be the only time in my sporting career that I've lost 2 games in a row. It doesn't feel very good," end quote. This NBA playoff slate, no one's been hotter than who? That's right. It's the Miami Heat, aptly named. Jimmy Butler and company defeated the Boston Celtics last night 106-101. They lead the Eastern Conference Finals 2-0. Miami, it's worth noting, sits at a 10-1 record this postseason. They dethroned the number 1 seeded Milwaukee Bucks in the conference semis. And speaking of Milwaukee, their lead man, Giannis Antetokounmpo, was named the NBA League MVP. Giannis, awarded Defensive Player of the Year honors earlier in August, won the MVP last season. Still no titles under his belt with the Bucks. And if you like ice, the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs, the finals rather, has plenty of it. Ironically enough, the warm climates of the Dallas Stars and Tampa Bay Lightning will be in for it. Struggling who to root for, might I suggest Tampa Bay. Tyler Johnson, an important role player for the Lightning. He's a Spokane native, a graduate of Central Valley High School, and a former Spokane Chief. Catch Johnson and the rest of the action tomorrow for a 4:30 p.m. puck drop. Moving over to the links, it's round 1 of the U.S. Open. They teed off yesterday in New York at Winged Foot Golf Club. PGA Player of the Year Justin Thomas led the field at 5 under, followed by fellow American Patrick Reed. He trails by just a single stroke. Brooks Koepka, notably winning 2 of the last 3 U.S. Opens, will not be playing this week due to a recurring knee injury. So in a complete different change of pace and a different fashion, don't expect to see the fashionably late arrival of Brooks Koepka coming this weekend on the leaderboard, and that is our world in sports. So Humayan, I'm curious how you feel about Russell Wilson getting that praise. Check. He doesn't talk to players, hardly his own players at all.
Yeah. How do you feel about this?
I'm personally a fan. I think Russell is very underrated. The numbers he's put up for a long time, pretty unparalleled. But I think even more than that, the cool thing about Russ is that he doesn't miss games. I think that's a quality that, I mean, you want your quarterback, you don't want a guy to be sidelined a lot, sort of a Brett Favre syndrome, you know, doesn't miss too much.
Up next, the new generation of video game consoles is near details after the break.
We'll be right back.
Dad, they took over my bedroom. Come on, come on. Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. Dad! You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
There. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Can I tell you another one? So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it. What's Beethoven's favorite fruit? Banana. What is a boxer's favorite drink? Fruit punch.
Microsoft and PlayStation have announced their prices for their own respective models. The new PS5 will be sold for $499 and the Xbox X Series will be sold for $499 as well. The PS5 is currently available for pre-order.
Today is National Cheeseburger Day. I am personally a pretty big fan of the Five Guys burgers, but of course it's totally up to you, whatever your favorite is. Go out there, go get a burger, celebrate today. And how do you feel about...
I'm gonna buy 6 cheeseburgers right after this. I'm hungry.
Wow,
Yeah.
6?
I love cheeseburgers.
Okay, that's... Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
6 is a good amount.
Do
Enjoy
you want to have a
that.
competition with me?
Sure, yeah. You know what?
Let's do it.
have it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I'll eat 7 now. And I'm going to just feel great afterwards. 7 Five Guys burgers. I absolutely love that. Alrighty. Thank you so much for watching. Humayun, it's been a pleasure anchoring with you today, may I add. Honestly, it's been a great time. I'm loving all of it. To our viewers, if you missed anything in this or any of our previous newscasts, you can always watch it on our YouTube channel.
More news can be found at nwpb.org/emanate, and you can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Have a good night.